All right, producer Scott. Looks like we are live one more time today. So, hey, Scott, welcome back to the show. As if I have to welcome you, you're the one that's running the show and pushing the buttons. Oh, can't hear you, Scott.
That darn mute button. I'm happy to be here, Jay. As you know, today is J Day. It's not Tuesday, it's J Day.
Yeah, we've been doing J-Day stuff here since like 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, right?
That's right.
Actually, Scott, I am beginning my fourth straight hour right now of not only podcasting and YouTubing and FaceTime and live, but I had a special conference today, Zoom conference from 12 noon Eastern until 1:40 p.m. We went an hour and 40 minutes. And that was with my platinum group and my mastermind members. And the whole purpose of the conversation, was we were talking about how to survive and thrive here in the midst of the coronavirus. We had 4 topics. And the first topic was, first of all, how do you take care of yourself first? You got to take care of yourself first before you can take care of other people. And what do we mean by that? Taking care of yourself mentally, keeping the negativity out, not listening to the news 24 hours a day, being intentional about what new habits and routines you're going to create to keep positivity going on in your life. So how are you keeping the right mindset in the midst of coronavirus? How are you keeping the negativity out? It's called putting a box around your head. How are you taking care of yourself physically, putting a box around your body? Are you getting the exercise you need? Are you getting outside for fresh air? Are you getting the sleep that you need? And also we talked about in that hour, 40-minute Zoom conference, we talked about what you can be doing in the midst of coronavirus to grow personally exponentially. You know, I told my people, I said, look, folks, right now is the perfect opportunity to be growing personally. You got the time on your hands. And if you're not growing personally, listening to the podcast, intentionally doing the positive daily routines, it's not because you don't have the time. It's because you don't have the desire and the discipline and the determination. So that's some of the stuff we talked about on that hour and 40 minutes, right? Can't hear you, Scott. Can't hear you.
One of the key, I'm in a noisy place, so I want to mute myself so none of the noise comes through when you're talking. But one of the keys is surrounding yourself with positive people, right? Like one of the things that I appreciate about you, Jay, is your attitude. And so whenever I'm around you, which is often throughout the days, I come back charged. I don't come back drained. And that is so important, So look at the people around you, because they're not usually, except your family, and you can't do too much about those people, and who's draining you and who's giving you energy, and spend a little bit more time with those people, because we still have the phone, we still have, FaceTiming on Facebook or Skype. It's amazing how close we are to Dick Tracy's wristwatch, right?
Well, I think we do have the Apple Watch, which is Dick Tracy already.
Right.
So if you're just now tuning into the show, this is Real Estate Investing with Jay Conner, the Private Money Authority. So folks, I know we've got some of you live right now. We're going to be going officially live, okay, for the recording of the podcast, which is Real Estate Investing with Jay Conner on iTunes, on Google Play. And I've got a very, very special guest coming up here in a few minutes. His name's Ryan Chaw. And Ryan's never been on the show before, and I'm going to tell you, he's got a business model like you have never heard before. Ryan is going to be teaching, if you're a brand new real estate investor, this is for you. If you're a new or a seasoned real estate investor, this is for you. He's going to be showing you how you can be getting at least double rental income on properties, and how to be getting 100% passive income every month while the properties are being self-managed. Did you hear that term? Self-managed. So anyway, before we go officially with the show, whether you're watching live right now on the live stream on Facebook or on YouTube, You can be watching live, or you could be watching on the replay right now below the video. Right now, we want to know where you're from. So in the comment bar below the video, type your name and your city and your state. Type your name and your city and your state. We want to know where you're tuning in from. We love to know who our guests are. And you're going to have opportunity here in just a few minutes to ask any questions that you have regarding Ryan Chaw, my special guest that I've got coming up. So if you're brand new to the show, this is Jay Conner, Real Estate Investing with Jay Conner. And I'm known as the Private Money Authority because I was cut off from the banks back in 2009, and I was introduced to this wonderful world of private money, which means you're not relying on banks or mortgage companies to dictate the funding that you get. You get to set your own programs, set your own rules, and raise your own money. So in just a moment, when we officially go live with the show, I'll be giving you an on-demand class link where you can go learn the 5 steps of how to get your own funding and not rely on the banks, and set your own interest rate and set your own rules, and etc. So again, if you're just coming into the show, we're going to be launching officially in just a moment. Go right now below the video and type in your name and your city and your state. We'd love to know where you are tuning in from. So, Scott, with that, we're 13 minutes after the hour. Why don't we go ahead and officially launch this show? Well, welcome to the show, my friend. This is Jay Conner, the Private Money Authority. Welcome you to another episode of the show. If you're brand new to the show, Real Estate Investing with Jay Conner, we talk about all things real estate investing. We talk about how to find deals, how to fund deals, how to sell houses fast, how to automate the business so you can actually be in real estate investing and making net figures into the 6 figures or 7 figures, and actually working less than 10 hours per week. I started in this business back in 2003, full-time. We've rehabbed over 400 houses since that time, done a lot more deals than that we didn't rehab. But just a little bit of background on me before I bring on my special guest today. And I tell you, folks, you're going to love my special guest, Mr. Ryan Chaw. He's never been here on the show before. And this gentleman, you're going to learn from him, whether you are a new real estate investor or a seasoned real estate investor, how to get double or even triple the rent on a single family house of what you normally would by renting it out traditionally. You're also going to learn how to have your properties self-managed without you having to have a property management company. And so this gentleman, who is like way too young to be this successful, has got some amazing information to share with me and you here in the next few minutes. But before I bring my special guest on, how I got into private money back in 2009, I was cut off from the banks with no notice. And this was back during the global financial crisis that we were in. All the money sources had dried up. And so within 2 weeks of being cut off from the banks, I was introduced to this wonderful world of private money in 2009. And since that time, I've never missed out on a deal because I didn't have the funding. So if you would like to learn how to get unlimited funding for your deals, regardless of what your hard money lender would say, and of course, in today's environment, the hard money lenders have dried up for the time being. There is no hard money. But if you want funding and not have to rely on the banks or mortgage brokers or hard money lenders, I'm going to give you a free website you can go to after the show, and you can learn the 5 steps as to how I raised over $2 million in less than 90 days from when being cut off from the banks. And here's the URL. Go to www.jayconner.com/money podcast. Again, that's www.jayconner.com/money podcast. Well, I'm so excited to introduce my special guest here on the show today. First time, he's never been here before. This young gentleman graduated with his doctorate in pharmacy in 2015. And in 2015, he was only 23 years old. Well, he loves his job. He loves being a doctor of pharmacy, loves being a pharmacist, but he wanted to do a little more something with his life. So he just didn't want to be that pharmacist that you would see in the store or the pharmacy or the Walmart or whatever, and work as a pharmacist until he's 65 and retire. Well, actually, he was inspired to be a real estate investor by his grandfather. And here's why. His grandfather had bought properties over the years and was able to enjoy retirement just from his rental incomes. So Ryan, my guest, he bought his first investment property the first year in 2016 after he got his doctorate in pharmacy. And he invested in this single family house right there at his local college. So here's what he did different. He rented out the home by the bedroom. He didn't rent it out by the property. He rented it out by the bedroom. So a good mentor of mine, Dan Kennedy, says, buy it by the gallon and sell it by the squirt. Buy it by the gallon, sell it by the squirt. So that's what Ryan did. He invested in this single family house, bought the gallon, and now he's going to rent it out by the squirt. He's renting it out by the bedroom, not by the house. And he did it to college students. And then even more than that, he renovated and added extra bedrooms to increase his profit. So anyway, he repeated the same process that he started out with, and he's bought one house, one property each year since that first one. So then he's created this automated system for getting consistent, high-quality tenants. They self-manage the property, and he's also learned how to decrease expenses through what he calls preventative maintenance. And I can't wait to learn about preventative maintenance. So as of right now, during the show, he is earning right at $11,000 per month, totally passive. $11,000 a month, totally passive, by his system of renting out the houses by the room and just investing in one house per year since he started. So he's going to tell you when he comes on here how he funded the deals, but he's also going to teach you about how he's leveraged these properties. So Ryan is now teaching other people his system, how he's able to find a college town nearby to invest in, how to analyze a deal, how to generate tenant leads through using his proprietary marketing tactics. And also he teaches how he's able to self-manage these college tenants to where everything's hands-off and totally automated. Just by the wayside, Ryan loves to travel. And of course, he can travel because of this automated way of making money. He's been to China, Japan, Taiwan, Bahamas, Canada, Paris, London, Germany, Mexico, and all over the place. So with that, everybody, please welcome my new friend and special guest of the show, Mr. and Dr. Ryan Chaw. Welcome, Doctor.
Hello, guys. Hi, Jay. And I'm honored to be on the show.
Well, I tell you, man, I'm honored to have you on the show. It's amazing that I see folks of your age make the kind of success and create the kind of systems they have in such a short period of time. So folks, if you're just now joining the show, whether you're watching the live stream or you're watching the replay right now, because we want to get interaction from you, we want your questions for Ryan. Below the video right now, just type in your name and your city and state that you are tuning in from. Type in your name, your city and state as to where you're tuning in from. We love to see where our guests are from, and you'll be able to ask Ryan any questions as we get into the interview. So Ryan, your inspiration was your grandfather, right?
Yeah, that's right. He invested in a couple property or three properties in the Bay Area. And from the rental income from the Bay Area, he was able to fund his, expenses, his lifestyle until he lived until a ripe old age of 93 and a half. So this inspired me and showed me that you really can make generational wealth through real estate investing. And also, it allows you to be able to do, I always wanted to be able to do what I want, when I want, where I want, with whom I want to do it with, and basically live life on my own terms. So, I got started as soon as I could. 2015, I graduated with my pharmacy degree, and I bought my first single family home, 20% down conventional financing. And then I just reinvested that cash flow along with some of my W-2 income into the next house and to the next house. And then I also took out something called a HELOC, which you borrow against the equity against your house. Because my first house appreciated in price, I was able to take out that appreciation and put that as a down payment on my fourth house.
So did your grandfather rent out his properties in a traditional manner of where he rented out the whole house?
He did. He bought two single family homes, and then he also got a 6 flat apartment in San Francisco. This was way back when, though, in like the 50s. So everything was like dirt cheap back then, It's not as crazy as it is now. But yeah, just from, the rental income kind of increasing each year, he was able to make more and more from each of those assets. And eventually he was able to retire early.
So how did you come up with this idea of renting out the properties by the room, by the bedroom, instead of renting out the whole house like is the traditional model that most landlords do?
Yeah, so I when I was in college, actually, I saw one of my friends do this. He house hacked. He basically lived in the house and then he rented to his buddies, and he was able to live for free at the house. And so from that, I was like, hey, I can do this. This isn't too hard. If I buy a house that's very close to campus, that's basically on campus housing because you're maybe 5 minutes away from their classes and you're offering a much cheaper rent with more privacy than the dormitory life, this actually is like a huge market. It's a blue ocean market. And, I just expanded that idea. I took extra family room or an extra living room, or if I could put up some drywall and create an extra bedroom, I would just do that. And then that would make me an extra $600 in rental income for each bedroom I could add. So I was like, this idea, I just basically copied the model and I kept, doing one. I just, every single house I bought, I just copied the same model. And so here I am with 4 single family homes, 18 tenants. And sometimes I put like 2 tenants in 1 bedroom to really maximize the profits. And it's making me $10,755 per month in rental income.
That is amazing, Ryan. Amazing. If you're just now joining us on the show, my special guest is Dr. Ryan Chaw. He's a pharmacist by day trade, real estate investor part-time, and he's got right now with only, how many properties you got, Ryan? 4?
4 single family homes.
So he's got 4. Listen, folks, listen. Ryan has got 4 single family homes and he's bringing in right at $11,000 a month, which is, I don't know, is it double? Is it double the rent that you would normally get?
Yeah, so during the appraisal, they kind of figured out what market rent would be. I also went on rentometer.com, and that's a great source to figure out what a typical rental will be around that area. And it rented out for the market rent was around $1,500.
Hey, Ryan, you froze up on us, so go back and say you said if you go on Rentometer, which is a good source, and pick it up from there.
Oh, yeah. So you can go on to Rentometer, and it's really great for figuring out what market rent is. But I basically went on there, and then from the appraisal as well, it averaged around $1,500 in market rent per month is what was expected. But because I added 2 extra bedrooms and made a 5-bed, 2-bath instead of a 3-bed, 2-bath, I was able to rent it out per bedroom, $600 per bedroom and make $3,100 per month.
So that is double.
3,100.
That is double.
Yeah, it is double. Yep, definitely.
That is amazing. If you're just joining us here on the live stream, my special guest is Ryan Chaw, who is sharing his system, his automated process for locating single-family houses near colleges. And instead of renting the houses out by the property, he's renting them out by the bedroom. And he's getting as much as double the rents as he would through a traditional source. So if you're on the live stream, we'd love to know who is tuning in. So right now, if you're on the live stream, type in below the video your name and your city and state and where you are tuning in from. We'd love to know where you're from. Let us know where you are. So one thing that interests me, Ryan, is you have a way of these properties self-managing themselves. What is that, and how does that work?
Yeah, so it's all about having the right team in place and having a system in case things come up, kind of have like a preset protocol for what to do when something comes up. I also do things like tenant empowerment. So I do have the tenants take up some of the responsibilities. And plus, I deal with college tenants. So a lot of the times the parents help out with managing the house too. Whenever they visit their kid, they don't want their kid to live in, a nasty place, right? So I actually had parents who would come by and just vacuum the whole house and clean up the place. And so, just having the right system in place and having the right team, like I have a team of contractors, it goes a long way.
How far are these properties from where you actually live?
They're an hour away. So where I live is in Sacramento area, and the prices here are around $500,000 per house. It's very hard to get cash flow from that. But if I go an hour away to Stockton, the houses are more like 200 to 300,000, so a lot more affordable. Plus, I can make a whole lot more cash flow, and that's how I'm able to actually make cash flow on 15-year mortgages. All of my houses are actually on 15-year mortgages, except my first house is on the 10-year mortgage, I believe.
Excellent, excellent. If you're just joining us here on the show, my special guest is Ryan Chaw, and he is in California, and he is sharing with us today how you can actually have a automated process of investing in single-family houses that are near college towns or in a college town, and how they're self-managed and how you can earn double the rent from what you normally would. We want to welcome Marie all the way from Toledo, Ohio. We've got Daniel from Southern California. Welcome to the show. If you're just tuning into the show, we'd love to know where you're from. Go below the video right now, type in your name, type in your city and state, and say hello to everybody. Let us know where you're coming in from. And if you have any question for Dr. Chaw, who is a pharmacist by day, real estate investor by night, who's got the process automated, just type in your questions in the chat box, in the comment box, in the comment bar below, and we'll get your questions answered. So I got a question for you, Ryan, and that is, how do you find these deals? How do you find these houses?
So actually, you can find a lot of them on Zillow. I always hop on it as soon as it appears on Zillow the first day. If it's a good deal, I'll take a look through the house and make sure it meets the specifications I would like, of course, close to campus, usually a 3-bed, 2-bath. The pricing is very important. And then I'll just hop on it on day one when it comes to me. I also have real estate agents sending me listings. Sometimes they send me, off market listings as well. And so that's how I find my deals. I don't have to be super, involved in terms of marketing or like finding houses by direct mail marketing or anything like that, because I already have enough deals just coming through from my real estate agents that I'm in contact with. So yeah, that's how I do it.
That makes sense. So the question is, how do you determine how much you're able to rent out each bedroom? And so let me give a little bit of color to that question. By the way, folks, whether you're tuning in live or you are listening to the podcast, either on iTunes or on Google Play, Ryan has got a free gift for every one of you here at the end of the show. And this free gift, you're definitely going to want to take advantage of. So anyway, back to my question, Ryan. So you can go to rentometer.com, put in the address of the house or the property. That would tell you what the average rent is for that property. So give us your formula. How do you take what that house would rent for as an entire property, and how do you figure and convert over to what you can rent each room out for?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you could go to Craigslist, Facebook, and just kind of see what people are renting out a bedroom for. Craigslist specifically has a section for renting out bedrooms, and then you can see kind of what the price range is there. Typically, in a college town, I find that bedrooms can be rented out for anywhere from $500 to $700. Although I've also seen some bedrooms rent out for more. You could even put like two people in one bedroom and have one pay $470. Or, I mean, both of them pay $470, and that would, or $450 or something like that, and that would get you like $900 for that bedroom. Basically, I just assume for the most part it'll be within that $500 to $700 range, and of course check Craigslist to confirm, and then just multiply it by how many bedrooms you can put into the house. So if you could put in 5 bedrooms, that's 3,100, right? If you could put in 6 bedrooms, that's like around 3,700 or so. So yeah, it really depends on how many extra room you have that you can turn into a bedroom, or and basically just add value to the house.
And all of the tenants living in the houses are college students?
They are, yes. I target college students with my marketing. So I target, I don't go for just first and second year students. I mainly actually look for graduate students, professional students like pharmacists, MD, dental school students, right? And then I also look for, third or fourth year students, because they're the ones who kind of want more of that privacy. They're over the whole partying. They don't, they're not into that as much anymore. They're a lot more mature, and they're more focused on their studies, because, if you're in pharmacy school, you really do have to focus on your studies, because it's very tough. And so they have to pass their finals. They're not going to tolerate someone else who wants to have a house party or something like that. So I don't have any house parties at my houses because of that, because I choose the right tenants, right? It's all about finding the high quality tenants, screening them. And I have 1-year leases, and they can always sublease to someone if they're not in the property. So it's, I have back-to-back leases, and it gives me that almost, like you said, $11,000 in rental income each month.
So that leads me to the next question, and that is, you've got a house. Let's say it's got 4 bedrooms. Let's say you just have 1 tenant per bedroom. How do they go about the common areas, sharing the living room, sharing the kitchen, and how do they keep their personal belongings, secure? I mean, are there deadbolts on the bedroom doors? How does that work?
Yeah, so each bedroom door does have a lock. I do usually have either electronic lock on the front door, or I have a lock where you can put in the combination and get a spare key. Those are the couple ways that they can get into the house, and only the tenants and the contractors know the code to the front door lock. And so if they want more privacy, each of the students could lock their bedroom door. As far as the common area and like utilities, they do share it. So they kind of, it's up to them how they work it out. I usually will have like one tenant in charge of paying the utility, like the PG&E bill, for example, and then they'll split the utilities among the other tenants. And that comes with the whole tenant empowerment idea, having some tenants take some of the responsibilities, so you kind of cut down on some of the paperwork you have to do, right?
So are you collecting rent each month from all the tenants, or just one tenant per property, and that one primary tenant per property collects from everybody else?
Each tenant pays rent to me individually. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I have individual leases. You do have to check with the city that you're living in to make sure that this is allowed. But I checked with the city, planning and development committee, right? And they said, as long as you have business license with the city, you can do multiple students in one bedroom. You could have multiple leases and have them pay you individually. And yeah, and then I just set up a payment system, an automated payment system. I use Zelle usually, so I don't have to deal with checks in the mail or checks getting lost in the mail, right? So it's all automated. The more I can automate, the better, right?
Absolutely. So what is that payment system? I didn't catch it. How do they pay?
Oh, Zelle. I use Zelle payments.
Is that
Zelle. A lot of the banks actually are set up with Zelle. It's a third-party app on your phone you can use to do direct deposits. And so you get notified immediately when the deposit's made. So you can also know if they paid rent late, right? Rather than having them say, oh, the check must have gone lost in the mail or something, right? I know exactly when they paid their rent, so I can charge late fees accordingly. And I usually give like a grace period. After the 5th day, they do have to pay a $100 late fee and then $20 each day after that if it's unpaid still.
Excellent. If you're just tuning into the show, my special guest today is Dr. Ryan Chaw, pharmacist by day, real estate investor by night. He has developed a totally automated system on how to have rental properties in college towns and get double the rent from what you could traditionally, and also how to have it primarily, or in the majority of the cases, self-managed. So if you're on the live stream, type in your name and your city and your state right below the video. Type in your name, city and state. We'd love to know where you're from. And say hello to everybody. And if you've got any questions for Ryan, he's here to answer your questions. So Ryan, my next question is, so we talked about how to find the properties, and I know you are targeting college students to be tenants that are in their 3rd year, 4th year, or graduate students. How do you get the message to them? How do you find your tenants?
That's a great question. So I actually use a lot of Facebook groups. Each college will have a Facebook group like off-campus housing. They'll have what you call class of 2021, graduate students. There's also clubs as well. And I could use those Facebook groups to, especially like housing groups, to advertise my properties. And a lot of times, right when I put up an ad, I would say within the first 2 days, I'll get anywhere from 5 to 10 people contacting me. So
wow.
I have to check my Facebook pretty often right when I put up that ad. But yeah, they're very popular. And that's because I post the location. Like I take a snapshot of Google Maps and I'll post that, right? And so, I won't go over all the marketing techniques I use, but they'll see how close it is to campus. And then a lot of people, they hop right on it because I'm charging, $600 to $700 in rent versus on-campus housing, they charge around $1,100 or $1,200 in rent. So I'm charging like half the price. I'm just as close to the schools. I provide more privacy. You get a whole house rather than the dormitory room that you have to share with your roommate, right? So yeah, a lot of people hop right on it.
That's awesome. Welcome, Janet from Atlanta, Georgia. Glad to have you here on the show. And if you're just joining in here with us, type in your name, your city and state below the video. We love to know where you're tuning in from. So if you're just coming onto the show, my special guest is Dr. Ryan Chaw, pharmacist by day, real estate investor by night. How to double your rental income by investing in properties that are in college towns, and how to rent out by the room instead of the entire house. And again, get double your rent. Ryan, how often do you actually physically go down and visit your properties and put your eyes on them?
Yeah, so the last time I actually visited Stockton to check on my rentals was back in July when I was closing on my 4th house. So
we're talking 9 months ago?
Yeah, exactly. If you automate everything, if like let's say the toilet breaks down, right? You get a text message, you forward it to your contractor team, whoever is an expert in that area for fixing that particular item, and then they let themselves in with the electronic code on the door. They do their work. I have someone check on the work, and then they go out, send me the bill, and I send them a check. And so I don't ever have to go down to the property.
Wow, amazing. Well, Ryan, I can't thank you enough for being here on the show. Ryan, you have got, as promised, a free gift for all of our audience members here. So tell them about the gift. And Scott, producer, if you're going to put up on the video for those that are watching the video, you can put up the URL. It's jayconner.com, JAYCONNER.com/Ryan, RYAN. Ryan, tell our folks what they can get there for free.
Yeah, so I have a free PDF for especially newbie investors, but expert investors can go through it as well and get a lot of value. It goes through the different types of real estate investing out there. And then it goes through my particular strategy and how I'm able to maximize the profit by renting out per bedroom. So it's a really great resource. And then if you guys would like, I also have my newsletter. You can sign up at www.newbierealestateinvesting.com. That's www.newbierealestateinvesting.com. And newbie is spelled NEWBIE. And there's some really great resources for you guys on that that I send out, weekly emails, so you guys can look through those and see some of my strategies that I use. A lot of great free content as well.
That is awesome, Ryan. Thank you so much for offering that up to the audience. So, parting comments, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say part of it is developing your mindset to be a successful real estate investor, and having a system in place for vetting properties. I do a lot of things like preventative maintenance. I actually lost a lot on my first property because I didn't do the right type of preventative maintenance that I should have done, and I didn't vet it correctly. But yeah, hiring a mentor, I definitely believe in that, because if you have a mentor who can show you step by step how to create profit in real estate and what to avoid and how to avoid losing money and wasting your time, that's a really good investment for yourself. And so I do also offer one-on-one coaching. You can sign up for my newsletter, and there's some links there if you want to hop on a one-on-one call with me. And again, that website's www.newbierealestateinvesting.com.
newbierealestateinvesting.com. Well, Dr. Ryan Chaw, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. I really appreciate it. This was fantastic and very valuable information for all of us.
Thank you, Jay. And thanks for inviting me on the show.
You're welcome. All right, folks, I'm Jay Conner, the Private Money Authority, wishing you all the best. And here's to taking your real estate investing to the next level. We'll see you on the next show. Bye for now.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, Ryan, again, thank you so much. For all of you all that are still live here with us on the show, thank you for tuning in. Be sure and take up Ryan on his free gift offer there. I certainly am. I can't wait to see what kind of good information you got coming out in your newsletter there, Ryan.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay. Yeah.
All right, Scott, anything else for us?
No, I think it's a wrap. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And thanks, Ryan, for coming on.
All right, everybody, have a great rest of the day and a great rest of the week. We'll catch you later.
All right.